From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon and welcome to your MTN Noon News. I'm Augusta McDonnell. Let's get right to our top story. The Franklin fire near Malibu, California may be 100% contained, but that's not before it triggered thousands of evacuations. While Pepperdine University did not evacuate its students, the school was still surrounded by flames from the fire, and that impacted school staff, including former Missoula basketball star and current Pepperdine coach Jocelyn Tinkle. MTN's Derek Joseph shares her story of coaching through a crisis.
It was just kind of a shock for some of us newbies.
Earlier this month, Malibu was uprooted by the Franklin fire, which burned near Pepperdine University, the new home of former Montana Lady Grizz coach Jocelyn Tinkle. But while a fire approached the campus, the Missoula native was away on a recruiting trip for the Pepperdine women's basketball team.
Yeah, I mean, my experience is pretty much just like all your guys's, with just seeing the scary videos, and you just, thank goodness that everyone was safe and okay, and that we were over here protected.
Tinkle says the biggest challenge was navigating the team through a crisis. The players practice in nearby high school gyms to prepare for an upcoming game in New Mexico, giving the team a lesson in adversity. That's
one of the beautiful things about coaching, and why I love it, is there's so many life lessons you learn being a part of a college team and college athletics. And so, this is one of those things where your life, there's one thing it can guarantee you, and life's going to be hard, and you're going to be dealt with adversity. And, hopefully you just are surrounded by good people and the right people to rely on. And, and so I was really proud of that.
Pepperdine's head coach, Katie Faulkner, formerly Katie Baker, was a standout player for the Lady Grizz from 2009 to 2013. The Franklin fire burned very close to her home. And while Tinkle was worried for her colleagues' safety, Faulkner was finding any way she could help those around her.
Just right away who she is. She's really communicative, and so I appreciate that. She calls me right away, like, what can we do? And she knew I was coming back from the road. She was like, is Dubs okay, right? Like, just that she was making sure my dog was okay.
But even though Tinkle was challenged early into her tenure at Pepperdine, she's grateful to be there, especially after beginning her coaching career at the University of Montana.
I mean, Montana will always hold a huge part of my heart, and so that was an amazing experience. But it also just prepared me and helped me grow to have the courage to take that next step. And I'm really thankful that I'm here.
Reporting in Missoula, I'm Derek Joseph, MTN Sports.
Thankfully, no widespread fires in Montana, Idaho, or Wyoming, although we would love to have more snow and rain because we still have plenty of drought persisting, especially in eastern Montana. We have some areas of light snow that's been falling mostly over the west side of the divide, trying to get over Cut Bank too. Some light amounts of snow around Kalispell. We've also had a little bit around Butte and Bozeman. Dillon, a little bit of a trace of snow here and there. Lewistown, some snow traces also. More gusty wind around Livingston with a slight chance for some more snow showers, but most of that is moving from the Billings area toward Forsyth, getting closer to Miles City. Some light rain, light snow. None of this is heavy, but the good news is we have better chances for bigger amounts of mainly snow. Our 7-day forecast coming up.
And in today's leading look, in Helena, crews are still cleaning up after a deadly apartment fire on Christmas Eve. A neighbor on Livingston Avenue saw flames and smoke coming out of that building that morning. Firefighters found one person inside and immediately began life-saving measures. That person did not survive. Helena Fire reported the fire appears to have started from a plug strip. And Senator-elect Tim Sheehy and Congressman-elect Troy Downing, both Republicans, announced committees they'll be serving on next year when they join the Senate. Sheehy will serve on the Senate Armed Services Committee and on the Veterans Affairs Committee. He'll also sit on the Commerce, Science, and Transportation Committee. Downing announced he'll be on the House Financial Services Committee. And in Gallatin County, a refugee who came to Bozeman to keep her daughter safe is now facing a court ruling to send her daughter back to war-torn Ukraine. Recently, women in Bozeman rallied together to raise money for legal fees for Zana, a Ukrainian mother battling her ex-husband to keep her daughter Maria in the United States. 2 days before Christmas, a U.S. District Court judge ruled Maria to return to her father. Both Maria and Zana will return to Ukraine on February 3rd. Zana tells MTN News she will not stop fighting for Maria. Right now, tens of thousands of Montanans are receiving health care through a Medicaid expansion approved by state leaders nearly a decade ago. In the next year, that expansion is set to expire, but that all rests on lawmakers and if they agree to renew it in the upcoming legislative session. The expansion let any adults making less than 1 1/3 times the federal poverty level enroll in Medicaid. Healthcare officials like Sherry Taylor, president of the hospital in Cut Bank, say many people they see are in transition. Those people are working in service jobs, working part-time, going to school, or caregiving. As of 2023, 109,000 Montanans were on Medicaid expansion. An average of 288,000 were enrolled in Medicaid.
About 30% of people in housekeeping, personal care are covered by Medicaid expansion. 10 to 15% of people in construction and labor. One of the statistics that always stands out for me is 60% of bakers are covered by Medicaid expansion. So a lot of people who really make the economy run, people in retail, people in service.
On Friday, we'll have a closer look at some of the political debates upcoming in the new year. Bigfork is known as Montana's Christmas Village, and the Bigfork elementary students brought Christmas magic to the town by caroling for all to hear. MTN's Kiana Wilson was at the town square yesterday to bring us the sounds of Christmas.
Oh, you better watch out.
There's no better dose of the Christmas spirit than to put smiles on the faces of a bunch of kids and listen to them sing and just to enjoy it all.
Bigfork Elementary students brought the Christmas spirit to the town by singing the traditional holiday songs for parents, grandparents, and the community last Friday. This year, local musicians from the Tommy Edwards Band led the caroling.
You know, both my kids go to Bigfork, and we live in this town, right? And Heather, the music teacher, called in for a favor, and we just couldn't jump on it fast enough to... Who wouldn't want to come sing with 350 smiling kids, right?
Students and teachers prepared for weeks to bring the spirit of Christmas to the town by singing songs like Feliz Navidad, Santa Claus is coming to town, and Have a Holly Jolly Christmas.
Feliz Navidad. Come on. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad.
For a completely packed town square. In Bigfork, Kiana Wilson, MTN News.
Jingle Bells romanticizes many traditions during the holiday season, including a ride on a one-horse open sleigh. A Montana ranch is taking that a step further with giant sleighs drawn by 2 specialty draft horses. In our latest Montana Ag Report, MTN's John Shearer shows us an up-close and personal look at these impressive creatures creating magical moments.
Jake, step up.
Sleigh ride season is starting up in Montana.
Easy.
In a late morning stretch for the horses, we round to the trail this pair will get to know well in the coming weeks.
They're fresh. They won't be fresh come New Year's, though. Be all muscled up, ready to go.
Like many ranches in Montana, the 320 has a long history. It was homesteaded as 2 separate ranches more than 125 years ago.
1912, they combined them to form 320 acres. That's how the ranch became known as the 320.
In 1936, Bozeman doctor Carolyn McGill purchased the ranch.
She fell in love with this area on different hunting trips down into Yellowstone Park.
You might recognize McGill's name from somewhere else.
Caroline started the Museum of the Rockies in Bozeman. It was actually called the McGill Museum when it first opened up. These guys are going to air out right here.
Current owner Dave Bass purchased the ranch in 1985.
He bought it and brought it up from a 20 guest capacity over 200 that we have today.
So what do guests see on their 1-hour ride?
You get Cinnamon Mountain, Burnt Top Mountain. We'll be able to see the Spanish Peaks when we go along to Gallatin here. Looking back, you got a view of Monument.
And the challenge with managing big percheron horses around guests?
Our number 1 priority is keeping everybody safe. So we always have to be constantly looking at the equipment. As far as the people goes, probably the hardest part is kind of herding them up, getting them on the sleighs.
Well, I like, of course, the driving, working with the horses, but also meeting people from all around the world. You get to meet people from all different parts of life, all kind of different places. They're here for vacations. You get to kind of realize a little bit of people's life story. It's pretty cool just to meet different people.
And the horses?
You're looking for good disposition, you know. We're not looking for, we're not looking for heavy pullers. We're just looking for horses that are pretty docile and easygoing horses. They're not going to win any pulling competitions here.
But these workhorses are no slouches.
They'll pull 18 people, no problem, and these guys are big horses.
Mars says that translates to about 18 hands and nearly 2,000 pounds each. As the horses cool down after their workout, Mars wipes them down and explains how these animals cope with the harsh winters here.
Those horses are on hay, free choice grass hay and water. They do pretty well. We've got a lean-to for them to get out of the wind, but for the most part, they're pretty hardy animals.
It's late afternoon, trending toward dusk, and the sleighs are all ready to go, waiting for guests to make their way to the ride.
There's a lot of people that never seen a horse or been around horses, so it's a good opportunity to introduce them to the horses.
It's cool watching people fall in love with the horses. That's why I kind of do this, is to see people fall in love with horses like I do.
I'm John Shearer for MTN News at the 320 Ranch near Yellowstone National Park.